and being and things will be promoted here pretty quickly. We confirmed our happy hour. It'll be at Chicago's Pizza in Fishers. We're trying different places, see what happens, what works, what doesn't. But that is, we've got those in July. We've got our happy hour. We've got our open networking. Got quite a bit coming up. So just kind of keep your eyes on that. Tomorrow night, we have our TTR Presents, which is Catherine Rimstead, who's a love coach. And it's really, truly about juggling. We're talking about June juggling, and it's more joyful juggling is what she's going to talk about. But it's the circle or the wheel of life, I guess is what I should be saying. So that's tomorrow night at 6:30. Looking forward to her coaching us through some of that. It's kind of an interesting time. Everybody seems to be talking about the work-life balance and what works and what doesn't. And does anybody really have the magic answer? No. Is balance possible? Probably not, but we're all CB's laughing. But anyway, so that is tomorrow night. Then Friday morning is our open networking at the Haverstick. So those are our couple events coming up like in the next 2 or 3 days. So very busy. And then we also, let's see, it'll be the holiday week next week. I mean, really, it's kind of when people are getting ready for the 4th of July weekend. So we don't have anything going on. But just keep your eyes open. We've got a lot of great things coming up on the calendar and things we're trying to get scheduled. And I guess I would leave it at that right now, Dawn. It's hard to believe that we're almost to the end of June already. Cannot believe it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now it seems to have flown by. We were
for sure
optimistically looking forward to 2023 in January. And yeah, now the year almost halfway over, it just seems to have flown by for sure. But
yeah,
got a lot of good stuff going on with TTR networking.
Lot to come up. Yeah.
Our membership provides a lot more than just, visiting on a weekly basis in the networking groups. So I encourage everybody to take advantage of, check out the website and take advantage of the in-person networking and the TTR Presents presentations and all of that good stuff where we get a chance to listen and learn and grow. So thank you so very much, Jennifer, and have fun.
Well, send me positive vibes, everybody. Don't tell me to break a leg. I actually didn't break my leg, but I broke my knee. Well, messed up my knee, CB. One time somebody told me to do that, and I got my heel caught on the chair when I was getting up after I sang on it's a long story. But I don't take the break a leg real well. So don't tell me that, but I'm getting ready to sing here in a little bit. So think positively, send it this way. It's a beautiful night. I have no fear, except that I always get very excited and a little bit like control the nerves a little bit. But I will see you all soon. Thank you, Dawn. Have a great meeting.
Thank you.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So right now I want to take the opportunity to welcome everyone to our Tuesday night professional networking Zoom call with Collaborating Connections. And Collaborating Connections has been around for the past 5.5 years. We are part of the TTR, that's To the Rescue networking, which has been in existence well over 12 years. We used to meet in person on the east side of Indianapolis. We, since COVID, have gone to this virtual meeting via Zoom, and it's actually worked out. It's given us the opportunity to kind of branch out and meet some wonderful professionals, really from coast to coast and around the world. In some cases, we've had some international visitors as well. And TTR networking, actually, I consider it a little different than some of the other more traditional networking groups in that the rescue in TTR Rescue is an acronym for the tenets that we stand for. The R is for relationship building, which is just at the core of what we do. The E is for education. You know, we get an opportunity every week to listen to wonderful professionals, learn a little bit more about what they do and what's top of mind within their industries. And that helps us not only, you know, share wonderful referrals, but just, you know, we're all consumers and the information is valuable. The S is for success strategies, which we often want to share with each other. Things that work well for us, we want to be able to speak on it, and perhaps it's something that can be implemented, shared with others and found useful. The C is for community, whereas we love as businesses to thrive and succeed within our own industries, but we also want our communities that support us, that are inclusive of our clientele, that are inclusive of the vibrant workings around us, to thrive as well. So we love to support nonprofits, give back to our local communities, and to groups and organizations that are vital within our neighborhoods and our locales. The U is RESCUE. The U is for understanding. And, you know, while we're listening to each other on a weekly basis, we want to hear about each other's businesses, get a better understanding of what our niches are, and, you know, how we best help our clientele, our potential customers. And that helps us be better referral partners for each other. So understanding. And the second E is for execution. For all that we talk about and all that we do, it wouldn't be anything unless we put it into action. So we constantly encourage each other to execute, go forward, do our best, and grow our businesses. So that's it. To the rescue, TTR Networking, Collaborating Connections. I want to welcome our guest, our visitor, Dan, this week. Dan and I had the opportunity to touch base at another TTR Networking event within the past couple of weeks. And he is a local realtor, which we currently don't have that industry represented within our group. Just thought he would be an excellent person to have. Oh, excuse me, to speak and engage with us this evening. So welcome, Dan. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you. Look forward to it.
Good, good. On a weekly basis, we like to start off with recognizing wins from the past week. So I want to open the floor and invite anybody to share something good, something positive that has happened within your business, or something that you don't mind sharing within your personal, that we can all join in and celebrate with you on. So does anybody have any wins that they would like to share?
Well, I was on vacation last week, so I took some, with the 100 organization, we took 18 youth out to annual convention. That was fantastic. It was out there. Had a good time. Young people had a good time to be impacted and make a difference there itself. So the win there was definitely showing them a different way of impacting them with some of the things from also nationally with our young people, and seeing what we were doing. I always look forward to our convention. We have what we call a youth convention part, which is created and put on by the youth on that Saturday. It was fantastic. Yeah, it was a phenomenal panel that we had up there. It was great. So when there was impactful.
Great, great, Robert. I had the opportunity maybe 10 years ago to attend the youth conference, chaperoning students and representing the helping the local Indianapolis team represent their financial literacy project. And I can agree, it's a very impactful event. And I don't know, did Indy place this year at all?
Yeah, we came in second place.
Okay.
Came in
Wonderful.
second. So we, again, we would probably could have won basically on the presentation. It was fantastic on the presentation. Just on the Q&A, I told them they could have sharpened the Q&A versus coming together and speak. They would probably won first place because the other teams who took championship took first place. Presentation was 100% about the same. Just the Q&A, they did a better job on the Q&A. So that's the reason why they said, well, we could have sharpened that, we would have won. But it was a good presentations, good command of what they were speaking about and answering the questions. But the Q&A part, it was somewhat lacking because they made a change on the alternate. Before, the alternate could share information with them when they was answering questions. But this year they took that away, so the alternate could not speak. And they went to the alternate from the start. They said, oh, I'm sorry, you can't do that. And the alternate had she was pretty much better at answering the questions than they were. They was better at presenting.
Gotcha.
But it's the nature of the beast.
Well, keep doing great things with Indy's youth in the financial literacy field, Robert. Anybody else got any wins that they'd like to share with us?
I was on vacation with my wife, and we actually took our 10-year-old grandson to North Carolina in the mountain area, in Smoky Mountains. My wife was there when she was very little. Her parents are from that area, which is around Franklin, North Carolina. A lot of people aren't familiar with it, but it's about an hour and 15 minutes southwest of Asheville. It's kind of known for its gems and gem mining. But our 10-year-old now, he just turned 10, loves to go there. My wife's family basically have a home that they purchased a number of years ago, and now it's basically in my wife's name, her brother, and a sister-in-law. But every time we go there, there's some project to do, some work project, but we try to take some time to go check out whatever is going on in the area. There's waterfalls. In fact, our 10-year-old grandson, Liam, when we stopped at an overlook going up to Highlands, which is on the Georgia side of the area going up to that location, he actually found a waterfall that used to be a tourist attraction, but a number of years ago, apparently the platform that people would actually go out and look at the waterfall had severe damage to it, so you can't really access it unless you want to take some risk or have some sort of a ladder to go across about a 3-foot gap, 4-foot gap. But it was interesting that he found that waterfall by hiking about 100 yards from the overlook, and it was pretty impressive. But there's many waterfalls in the Georgia, North Carolina area because of the mountains. Probably the most spectacular one is one called Dry Falls, which is on the North Carolina side. And you could actually walk underneath that waterfall. And it's probably about, I would say, 50 feet from the top to the bottom, maybe even more than that. But it's a pretty spectacular waterfall. Nothing like Niagara Falls, but it's still pretty impressive. So that's where we were last week. I don't know if you want me to give any update on who in the world I am, and you're looking to see what I could add some value to the group in some way.
Okay.
We'll
do the roundtable introductions shortly.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Dan. Did you take plenty of pictures, or do you like write down your experiences and memories? I'm just curious from my travel agent perspective. It sounds like, an awesome trip domestic trip, and that's something that, you know, a memory with your grandchildren that you'd probably like to keep the details.
Well, we've been taking him since he was 5 to that location.
Oh, good.
His dad and mom are not together anymore, but they're still pretty good friends, and they, you know, share him pretty well. And we also have not custody, but we pick him up at school every day. My wife does, and you know, just involved with him quite a bit. He's almost like another child growing up with us. So there's sometimes he'll spend a night with us on the weekend. But yes, my wife probably journals more than I do. I will post things on Facebook. Not everything, that would be almost overwhelming, but I do have a lot of pictures.
Cool. Very cool. I might reach out to you just to get some details about some of your travels, and it sounds pretty interesting. But I'm glad you all had a chance to get away and enjoy together as a family. That's important.
Well, his most favorite part is, you know, you go over the mountain from like the Gatlinburg area, you get into Cherokee. And there's a lot of shops there, and he loves to go through those shops, even though they all have about the same thing. But, you know, he spends a lot of time roaming through all those souvenir shops. And occasionally we'll buy him something.
Very cool.
But he's big on gem mining. On this trip, he found 51 carats of rubies. I mean, not one big, the biggest one was 51 carats. He actually had over 100 carats. But, you know, once they're cut down and polished, it probably would be a third of that.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Cool. CB, any wins on your end?
Oh, hard to say. Hard to say. Been well, everyone's been out enjoying other things. I've been working at home, so had an MRI on Friday, so I'm hobbling a little, as I showed you the cane a little earlier. So, but just because the body's down doesn't mean the mind can't work. So Father's Day was spent hanging out with the family. Have a nephew who is in theater, musical theater, acting, all those types of things. So strangely enough, from the mouth of babes, I got some great ideas that I'm working on pursuing. And my 7 o'clock call tonight is going to be following up on some of that. So it's always trying to go forward, forward. So, you know, there's no such thing as win or lose. It's win or learn. So gonna learn some tonight, gonna talk and then shut up and see what they have to say. So go from there. So
Very good.
give you more of a report next Tuesday.
Okay. We'll be looking
And then
forward to
let
it.
you know about my knee next Tuesday too.
Good vibes to you on that as well.
Thank
Good
you.
vibes.
Yes.
You're welcome. For me, my win for the past week is on again on my genealogy nonprofit side, and it being the summer and a lot of people getting into family reunions and family reunion planning. There's been quite a bit of activity or calls, follow up to me about family history and genealogy and getting the most out of the family reunions. So it's just a joy to me to be able to engage in those conversations and help people plan and do a little bit more than the norm of just sitting down having a meal together, you know, family reunion picnic, but how to ask the right questions and clarify some historical facts about family, and then, you know, encouraging everybody to bring old pictures and take new pictures of their family reunions and properly document and maintain those as a keepsake. So that's my win, that I'm just excited to be in the midst of summer right now. and having those conversations. For Dan's sake, as a visitor, I want to invite you to add your name, your business name, your contacts, whether that be email, phone, website, to the chat room. And I'm going to take all of that information and send it out to everyone following the call. So you don't have to take notes right now of each person's presentation, but you'll be able to have those connection data and be able to do follow-ups with one-on-ones. So I see Robert and CB have already added their information. So Dan, if you could add yours as well in the chat. And now let's go ahead and go forward with our roundtable introductions. And generally what I'm asking you to do here is just introduce a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your business and share exactly what types of referrals you are looking for. Sometimes they can be seasonal, or depending on if you've got a particular campaign going on at work, you might be looking to connect with certain groups of people. So take a moment to kind of think about that and share with us what types of referrals you're looking to be connected with right now. And I know CB mentioned that he has a 7 o'clock appointment, so I'm going to invite CB to go ahead and do your introduction. CB, are you ready to introduce yourself and your business?
Number one tonight. Yeah, we're good here. So thank you so much, Dawn. I'm CB Bjork with Ascension Imaging Studio. I do headshot, portrait, branding, and product photography, as well as being a FAA licensed drone operator. I can also do real estate, both internal and external, with my photography. So there you go, Dan, if you need a shooter for something. I am looking for both corporate clients who are interested in the items like the headshots, the products, and branding photography, but also if there is families who are needing portrait work done, like seniors or family, stuff like that, I am open to that as well. So my information is listed over in the chat, but you can find me CB at ascensionimagingstudio.com, or my phone number is listed. So good to go from there. So we're just working along. So.
Very cool.
What's the difference between just a drone operator and license?
Difference is a drone operator, if they are doing it for profit, doing it and being paid, they are unlicensed, they're doing it illegally. So as an FAA licensed pilot, I adhere to the FAA rules. So for example, if I were to be a mile away from the Indianapolis International Airport, I would have to call the tower control in order to get clearance in order to do photography, whereas somebody else would be putting a drone up, possibly putting somebody at risk, lives at risk, stuff like that, because they're not adhering to the FAA guidelines. It's actually wise to follow the guidelines. I've been in some places and realized there's apps on our phones that tell us where we can and cannot fly, where we should and should not fly. And you can get clearance to fly in those zones, but you do need to let the tower control know. So, but yeah, if you have someone that's just got a drone and they're doing it, they're not licensed, they're doing it illegally. So.
And that's if they're doing it for profit. But if they do it,
doing it for profit, if you're a hobbyist, that's a different thing. If you want to just take your drone, throw it up 100 feet and take some pictures of some things, that's fine. But if you're doing it for money, for remuneration, yeah, you need to be licensed. If you were to be stopped or something and them find out what you're doing, yeah, you can be fined. So your risk or their risk, whoever's doing it.
Yeah, I have used a photographer that does do drones. So it's good to know that that's what your business is.
Thank you.
Awesome. Do we have any other questions for CV Bjork this evening? All right. CV, well, did you have a chance, were you planning to schedule another headshots session to make that available for professionals?
Yes, right now I am a little bit on pause to planning anything due to my knee. So I actually have this really neat new program that does a lot of the back office work that's like really cool. But one, I need to get it learned, and two, I need to be able to walk. So I'm gonna make sure I don't set up something and then have to cancel because I have no mobility. So I'm working at trying to get all that figured out. And then middle of July, of course, I hit vacation. So taking the kids down to Florida. And so trying to do all that, but I'm trying to do it a little bit more on a work person schedule, not just a Saturday night. So the first one was just an attempt to get people taken care of, but my next one I'll try and do a little bit more. I would like to do it during an event that we have with TTR somewhere where I'm set up and everyone's kind of there and they can get the stuff done. But I'm kind of spacey because I need about 10 to 15 feet wide and about 20 feet long in order to be able to have enough space for lights, backgrounds, and everything in order to do this. So, but yes, I am planning on having something come up. There's a long answer to a short question.
Just a reminder, whenever you get that scheduled and planned, just let us know. And, you know, between Collaborating Connections and TTR Networking, we'll get that out on blast. Thank you so much, CB. Let's see next, Robert Hailey. Are you ready to introduce yourself and your business?
Yes. Robert Hailey with Old National Bank. I'm a community development mortgage loan officer here I have my office on the east side of town. I work with low to moderate income folks to help them become homeowners. I do a lot of class structure as far as educational, as far as helping to understand how to become a homeowner, the credit classes and workshops there itself. I do work with pretty much, we are a bank. We do any loan you want, but I specialize and I do have down payment assistance dollars to help folks to become homeowners, as well as those who do not have money to do so. Been doing this over 25 years, so keep a wealth of knowledge in that sense. So I do work with traditional loans itself, but but my focus right now is strictly on that low to moderate income folks. But I do take any loan. So referrals, anyone that's looking to buy a home or be a homeowner, or just want to do a consult, welcome for that itself. And one of the uniqueness about my portfolio product, I go as low as down to 600 credit score, manual underwrite, no mortgage insurance itself. So someone that's looking to be a homeowner, then with my dollars to help them get there. My money is grant money, not a loan. It is forgiven once the loans close. It's forgiven at closing itself. So definitely, truly trying to help. Again, Robert Hailey, Old National Bank. Again, on the east side of town here, but we do loans all 50 states as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Robert. Do we have any questions this evening for Robert Hailey with Old National Bank?
Well, Robert, I probably would want to get some more information. And, you know, when I start talking, I've done a lot with first-time buyers, and I'm familiar with a lot of the programs that are out there today.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the one that you just mentioned regarding grant money, I mean, I've used some of those as well. But again, I'm not sure what Old Nationals is. I actually used Old National several years ago for a client, but it was a program at the time, and I can't, I guess it's the National Home Loan Bank or whatever that's called, where they have some grant money.
Yeah, well, we do it all in-house now. So all our money comes from us internally through our home manager program. And then if you're a home manager and home manager, our portfolio product, home ready, is Fannie Mae product itself.
Okay.
Yep, and then and then those who are not trying to buy a home in Marion County, Indianapolis area, we have to go FHA. We have IHCDA dollars, which is 6% of the purchase price, but it's FHA is ICDA is controlling the rate on that FHA product itself. So, but there's
You also work with INHP.
yes, sir.
Okay.
On HP, I'm doing a lot of the lending classes for Indiana Housing Authority. They do work with first-time home buyers itself. I'm doing the workshops and as well as the credit class for them itself.
Okay.
So I'll do that. Mhm.
Super awesome. Sounds like a one-to-one follow-up call would be an excellent next step for the two of you, Dan and Robert.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
So I will go ahead and ask Dan, are you ready to introduce yourself and your business?
Sure. Name's Daniel Mervar. Actually, my legal name is Stan, but I have a middle name of Daniel. So that's what I go by, Dan or Daniel. Grew up on the west side of Indy. And then my wife and I got married. I mentioned that she was born in North Carolina, but her family moved to Michigan when she was like 5 years old. And that's where she grew up, in the Battle Creek, Kalamazoo area.
Mm-hmm.
So she has pretty much all of her family there, a lot of her aunts and uncles, those that are still alive, but she has a lot of cousins that are back in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, that area. But again, most of her roots are Michigan. So we have a lot of competition between IU and Michigan over the years. At any rate, I started, I'm an Air Force veteran. We moved from, actually my wife never lived on the west side per se. When we got married, we were on the short side for a few years, and we moved to Lawrence Township. And then a number of years ago, we moved to Fishers. But our two oldest actually went through the Lawrence school system. Our youngest went through both Lawrence and Hamilton Southeastern schools. But I worked in the corporate world for about 25 years plus with Xerox. I was in various positions. And then I got to the point where I wanted to do something different, be a little more entrepreneurial. So one of my sons and I actually started flipping houses. And I did that with another person that works full-time in construction. But that experience, I learned a lot about construction and did some work with a builder as well. And I use that experience now, since I've been a real estate agent full-time for about 12 years. I was with Remax for 10 years, and for about 2 years now, I've been with Century 21. But my niche primarily is first-time home buyers. I probably have helped over 150 first-time home buyers over the last 10 plus years. Just a wide variety of demographics throughout that group. A lot of single moms as well, and gives me a lot of satisfaction. We have used probably some of the programs that Robert was talking about with different vendors from, I used Old National several years ago, and then Indiana Housing, that program, and a couple of other banks. The banks have probably the most flexibility with their portfolio products, particularly for first-time home buyers that don't have a lot of money to put down. Housing prices have got rather expensive over the last 2 or 3 years, which unfortunately has kind of kept some buyers from buying what they'd like. And the interest rates right now aren't helping that. But, time changes things, and I know that will probably, mellow out here over the next several months. Well, I don't know, Robert, we'll probably never see what we did a couple of years ago with those subpar 3% rates, but you can never say never. But I do enjoy it. I've helped a lot of those first-time home buyers buy their second home. And my other niche is new construction, just based on my construction experience. I probably have helped about 55 plus people build a home with various builders in the area. And some of those buyers, particularly 5-6 years ago, were first-time home buyers when prices were a little more reasonable. But I do enjoy, again, helping particularly first-time home buyers find that first home. So that's a little bit about myself. I think I've kind of covered what I wanted to. But if you have any questions, or certainly probably Robert, I'll talk to you sometime to get a little more info on what Old National has.
Sure. Thank you so much, Dan. I'm just wondering, I know you mentioned that you have worked quite a bit with first-time home buyers. What is your target referral right now as far as clients and referral partners? What's a great industry to be a wonderful referral partner for you? And what types of individuals are you looking at as potential clients to be connected to?
Well, certainly first-time home buyers. I'm trying to help somebody right now that's only qualified for $100,000. And she is self-employed, which makes it a little more difficult, because I do know that when you're self-employed, you tend to write off things on your taxes, and when the lender is using that to qualify you, in many cases that works against what you're trying to find in a home. Maybe 5 years ago, you could have gotten something reasonable for $100,000, and you still can find something, but it gets back to, does it fulfill the needs of that particular person that's spending maybe $1,000, $1,100 a month now in rent, but can't get qualified in that price range to qualify for at least maybe 140, 150, which would help out quite a bit. But I'm pretty flexible. I would probably like to find most buyers that at least qualify for 150 and above, because I just know what the market is like to try to find a house in a pretty good area, unless it needs a lot of work. But most of these buyers aren't going to do what I used to do when I flipped houses, and would put a lot of work into what that house actually needed. But there are programs, and Robert's probably aware of those, where you can get a rehab loan. I helped a lady about 6 years ago that bought a HUD home, which is a foreclosure, and she did what's called a 203K streamline loan, and she coupled it with that Indiana Housing down payment assistance program. So basically, she had very little money out of pocket other than her initial earnest check and inspection, and was able to buy a house that I sold about 3 years after she bought it, and she made a pretty good profit when she, moved in with a boyfriend. So, again, first-time home buyers, and I'm flexible as far as area. I know a lot of the areas since I grew up on the west side, lived on the south side. I've helped people probably all around Indianapolis, as well as the surrounding counties. I prefer to stay maybe in the northern half of Indianapolis, but I still have gone, in a lot of different areas to help clients, because I try to go where they're wanting to be versus where I work.
Gotcha. Okay. Do we have any other questions for Dan this evening?
Dan has covered a lot of things there, so definitely look forward to us getting together. For us, yeah.
Good. Okay. No, I did want to mention, I just saw earlier this evening that our member Melissa Johnson, who is with Primerica as a financial analyst, helping young people and families and those who are needing some financial guidance. While she's not on the call tonight, she's her mom is I think had to go to the ER, and just a thought, if you all have an opportunity to say a prayer on behalf of her mom, that would be great. But just wanted to mention that Melissa Johnson with Primerica is also a group member, and hopefully we'll see her back with us next week. And Nancy Vesley, who is with Nancy does the medical insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, etc. Might be joining the call a little bit later. I know that she had a 6 o'clock meeting. And Nancy, who is very knowledgeable with medical insurance, and I understand that some people, I believe, are getting not kicked out of, but not qualifying this year for medical insurance that they have been used to accessing for the last couple of years. So if you know of anybody who's got any health insurance questions or just looking for some information or quotes on new insurance, Nancy Vesley with IHC Insurance is a great contact. Now, I don't know. I don't even remember if I introduced myself at the top of the call. My name is Dawn Evans Casey. I'm the leader of Collaborating Connections, and my company is Spa Travel. It's a full service travel agency. We've been around since, let's see, late 2016. And we want to help individuals have enjoyable, memorable travel experiences. So I really love to sit down with my clients, get a clear idea of where they want to go, what they want to do when they get there. And I sit down and create some proposals within their budget and some suggestions of tours, excursions, places to go while they're there to make sure that they have tremendous fun. I have contacts with thousands of travel vendors around the United States and really around the world. So anything from cruises, domestic and international airfare, getaways to exotic countries, or maybe just individuals or families that want to get away for their vacations. I am more than happy to help. And my assistance doesn't end with just booking the travel event. I continue to be an advocate for my travel clients when they're having issues such as delayed flights and canceled flights, or their destination hotel or resort is not quite what they expected. And I love to intervene on behalf of my clients, talk to the vendors. The vendors are happy to talk with me because, of course, they want me to bring them more business. And I love repeat travel clients. So I work hard to make sure that my travel clients have a great time. In addition to travel, my husband and I manage a genealogy nonprofit where we do educational outreach with families, kind of letting them know the importance of family history, how they can do research themselves to clarify family data, find family connections that they weren't aware of, and document this information in keepsake format that they can continue to build on and pass forward to future generations. So that genealogy nonprofit is called Claiming Your Roots. You can find us on Facebook and LinkedIn. And if you'd like to know further, feel free to reach out to me through claimingyourroots@gmail.com. While I grew up in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, not on the west side, where your wife has lived, Dan, I have always been a chocolate fanatic all my life. And more recently, with a diagnosis of diabetes, I thought I was going to have to give it up. But I have learned some healthy ways that I can still enjoy my wonderful chocolate indulgence. And I write about chocolate, post about chocolate in a chocolate blog called Cheerful Chocolate Spirit. That too is on Facebook. And anybody else who is a chocolate aficionado who is interested in some poetry, pictures, writing, whimsy about chocolate, I love to share. So feel free to reach out to me through Cheerful Chocolate Spirit on Facebook. That's about all for me. In addition, I do have a day job 9 to 5 where I work downtown Indy as a corporate auditor. But I love to be able to turn my interests into entrepreneurial endeavors that I get the chance to talk to individuals, work and help other individuals, and spread my joy. So that's Dawn Evans Casey in a nutshell. And I am happy to answer any questions that anybody may have.
It certainly sounds like you've got a full platter.
Yeah, staying busy keeps me out of trouble for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting about, you mentioned, of course, travel. Like a lot of times we'll do our own planning. Like last year, we went to Daytona, took Liam and his dad. We went to the Space Center. So that was his first endeavor to see the ocean and also to be on a airplane. But we did all that planning, and I've, recently read some things though where it said that a lot of times it's best to use a travel agent when you're, dealing with the hotels, because a lot of times the hotels will make it sound like if you deal directly with us, you'll get the best price, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not sure that's always the case.
Yeah, that is
And
true.
On chocolate, I also read something recently about certain brands of chocolate contain lead or too much lead. There was a particular brand that came from Consumer Reports. But I do like chocolate as well. But it's usually the ones that are with like 89% or whatever those percentages are. You probably know all those by heart.
I don't know them all by heart, but I certainly do look at that information. A lot of the very commercial brands that we eat every day, the Hershey, the Mars, those types, that there are reports and studies of how much minerals are added, and in some cases minerals that aren't necessarily healthy for us. So I do check that out. And I love to indulge in the international chocolates as well. There's a lot of interesting spices that different locations around the world that they utilize more frequently, that just gives the chocolate an enhanced or completely different taste. So that's something that I've gotten into lately as well. But I would recommend that, if anybody has sensitivities to various metals or ingredients, to always read those labels and to check out those studies and reports online. I think that would be very useful in today's day and age, especially where people tend to be more health conscious coming out of COVID. So
Right.
yeah. Okay. If there are no other questions for me, another thing, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, TTR Networking does have monthly themes. The theme for June is Juggling June. And that is focused on, the idea, and I think Jennifer mentioned it at the beginning of the call, the idea of a work-life balance. Is it really possible, and how we manage it? So I was hoping that we could have a brief discussion this evening about, our work-life challenges And if we had, if our days could accommodate and give us more time to get things done, what would it be on a professional and a personal level? Where would you focus that additional time on? If you had more time in your day, what would you want to do with it? So I'll open the floor to that discussion. And again, along the lines of juggling and the work-life balance, if you've got any thoughts or comments on that. Anybody?
I'll jump in.
Sure.
One of the ones that I don't have enough time for is setting stuff up, doing the things, because with my business and industry, it's a solopreneur. So I have to find things, learn things, and apply things. So it's a lot harder sometimes to get everything in its place. So time for me is spent learning and developing and getting stuff lined up so I can use it, which can be a little tricky.
Okay. So organization and planning prioritization, those would be where you
but
spend
it's-
more time?
It's like with 17 hats, it does so much, which is kind of like an entire business software, which holds contracts, and it keeps track of your schedule, keeps track of who's paid, keeps track of your shoots, keeps track of your appointments, keeps track of all this stuff, and then integrating that into the website, because that goes into that and it can be used off my website from there. So then it's kind of the back office, if you will, for my systems. And that's a big one right there. And there's a handful of other little ones out there that exist as well. So having the time for those is also a little crazy. With that, it's 6:56. I'm going to go ahead and jump. So
Okay.
it's great seeing everybody. I'm going to get ready for my call at 7 here and go from there. So until next Tuesday, hope to see everyone again next week. Good to see you again, Robert. Hope you're doing well. And nice to meet you, Dan. And it's been a pleasure being here tonight. So thank you so much, everybody.
Take
Okay,
care.
thank you.
TV, take care.
All righty.
Well, for me, it would be probably three things, because my wife keeps asking, when am I really going to officially retire? Well, that's probably 5 years down the road or so. Anyway, spend more time with family. I just think of this 10-year-old grandson who seems to be growing up way too fast. But at any rate, travel, and also doing some more things with the community. There was a couple of organizations that I was involved with several years ago. One was dealing with the homeless and feeding the homeless. So, and my church does some of that now. So spending more time with that as well.
All right. Wonderful. I have to say I share some of those endeavors as well, Dan. If I had a little bit more time, I'd do more travel, more family time as well. And I think I mentioned, at the onset of the call about TTR networking, we do endeavor to participate with nonprofits and community development. And there just never seems to be enough time to engage the way that we'd like to. So TTR Networking has an offshoot called TTR Cares that more specifically works with the nonprofits and community development. And we've got to get that going again, to get information out to our groups as far as volunteer opportunities, in a bunch of organizations, depending on whatever a member is interested in supporting with their time, talents, and treasures. we want to be able to communicate that and make sure that folks have the opportunity to help. So thanks for sharing that.
Sure.
What about you, Robert?
Oh, yeah, no problem. Definitely so. I do a lot with non-for-profit. I've been doing that involved in the community. The job I do every day is in the community. So I do that itself. It's more, I would say, a little bit of what Dan there, more time for family, like to travel more itself, but I've been very fortunate to be in a job with my passion. And so that's really been very blessed in that sense, in that way. Heavy in really involved in my church. So those things I'm already doing. And so if anything, my plate is overflowing. So if I had to say, if I can just, if you hear my wife, she said you need to take something off your plate because I'm doing so much. But always like to giving back and always have a passion for our young people. That's what the organization with the 100 Black Men. I pay to volunteer, but more so I run our team mentoring program where I'm making an impact to our young people, which I mentor our 59th graders, and then I'll support throughout the organization itself. So I do my passion. I love what I do every day. Get the job to allow me to do it. And so if I'm more time, if I can not put time back, because most of the time I get time, I'm putting it back in that. So I'd like to take some time for me, be more with my family and travel. So even though like a vacation, but it was travel, I'm traveling, doing something with my organization, and then working at the same time. So it was a work vacation. So
Those count too. Those count too. And I can tell, having had the experience with the young folks at that conference previously, I'm sure that it was enjoyable, as well as the time that you put in actually working. So if there's anything that I can do to help you on a vacation for you and your wife, you just give me a holler.
oh yeah, definitely. So I'll think about it. I'm gonna reach out to you on some couple of things.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, great.
The cruise to the Bahamas.
Caribbean. The Bahamas and the Caribbean are always popular summertime destinations that I get quite a few.
Probably the most cost effective too, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, in addition to doing a little bit more travel and spending time with family myself, I guess with more time, I know, kind of like CB mentioned, I get caught up in some of the day-to-day, so much of the day-to-day activities of my businesses and organizations that I don't spend as much time on the creative side or the innovative side, finding ways that they intersect and can be more efficient with my time. So I guess that's something that I have to intentionally think about and schedule in every now and then. Certainly there are areas where clearly there's common sense intersection between travel and genealogy, planning a trip that includes genealogy endeavors, or planning a trip to go enjoy chocolate, where I can do those types of things. So I guess with a little bit more time and some occasional scheduling improvements, I want to get better at that. So that kind of helps my work-life balance. Luckily, to be able to work side by side with my husband in the genealogy, Claiming Your Roots nonprofit is a joy. I'm glad that we share that, the interest and the love of family history, and we can both sit down and do that together. And yeah, that's where I'm at with the work-life balance. So I feel blessed that things have worked out that there are, interests that I can cultivate individually, as well as some interests that I can integrate my family into and enjoy that as well. So work-life
great.
balance isn't perfect, but it's working. It's working.
Yeah, I think most of us get caught up in spending a lot of time working in our business versus working on the businesses sometimes, that old adage,
Yes.
to try to figure out what can be done maybe more efficiently. I think I know I personally look for ways. My wife is actually starting to help me maybe be better organized in the real estate business, because I've never had an assistant per se.
Mhm.
I had another agent working with me for a couple of years. But for the most part, I do it on my own. Yeah.
Gotcha. And so I on the genealogy side, when we work with families, we encourage them to use the skill sets that they already have to go forward and do the genealogy, family history research. I say, young people are easily geared towards technology and doing research online. Seniors like to make phone calls and write letters and stay connected and ask questions and engage that way. And young adults and adults are all traveling. It's often, the same can be said when Dan, you and your wife, if she's got that skill set to help you organize and document. You mentioned that she's more of a writer or taking notes when you travel as well, that it's a good thing when you can utilize those innate skills to
Right.
assist or improve a process within your business and get things done more efficiently. Cool. Very cool. Well, I don't know if anybody's got any additional thoughts on the work-life balance they'd like to share before we wrap it up this evening.
Not at this time, but I'm sure I will in the future.
Okay. Well, I want to say thank you for joining us, Dan. We have enjoyed hearing about you and your business, and certainly want to invite you back to share with us again. I know, as I mentioned, I'm going to send out the contact information and this call recording via email to our membership afterwards. So feel free to conduct those one-on-one contacts and those follow-ups. There's general information that we're sharing with each other in our 60 to 90-minute weekly calls, but you never know just how much you find out that you have in common or how you can help until you have those one-on-ones and, ask those questions and really focus on developing those relationships. So that's something that we always encourage. I just want to say to everyone, even those who may be listening to the recording of this call at a later date, we are looking forward to meeting new and wonderful professionals out there. We'd love to hear from you. So if you have an opportunity, please drop us a line through TTR Networking or check us out on our Collaborating Connections Facebook page, Collaborating Connections LinkedIn page. Stay tuned with what's going on with us. We're often posting things out there in addition to our meetings, but just general discussions and professional development information to keep you aware and inspired. So go ahead, have a wonderful rest of the week, everyone, and we'll look forward to seeing you next Tuesday night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.